Recording. It. Oh no, my leg's going numb. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Yeah, I woke up like 5 minutes ago, half an hour ago, and I was like, I'm gonna review the new Finneas record. Optimist. He's an optimist in his prime. One half of the Billie Eilish duo, Finneas. What's his full name? Phineas Baird O'Connell. Yep, he's the main brains behind a lot of her songs. He's like the main producer. It's just her and him and her, Bonnie and Clyde. Up until this point, I haven't really studied Finneas all that much. Sorry, Finneas. All the hype has been about Billy, oh, new Billy, is she an industry plant? Oh, Finneas is just sort of like, he's just kind of lingered in the shadows a little bit. He's a bit of a shadow creature. He's a bit of a shadow boy. He's a talented man. He's a talented man. This is like his first kind of like official, I think, his first official album. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Talking is hard. On this record, Finneas does play it kind of just straight line. He doesn't really like step too far outside of the box, save for a couple of tracks, which I'm not crazy about. I think it was Around My Neck and also the 90s, which were... They're both kind of... You good? Can you talk again? They both make me wish that Finneas didn't make those songs. The opening track here, A Concert 6 Months From Now, is a good opener. It's a really good opener. Super entertaining track. Some COVID-centric lyrics. Some topics that might age like the warmest milk. It's multi-phase. It's got a compelling little ballad section at the start. It kind of opens up into this big... It kind of sounds like if I had this really quirky thought, guys. Hear me out. It kind of sounds like if Harry Styles was just like, all right, I guess I got to make My Chemical Romance songs now, in a good way. It's not a cringe-worthy kind of thing, but his voice does sound weirdly like Harry Styles on multiple songs here. He also pulls a lot vocally from Chris Martin from Coldplay as well. And even at some points, he kind of sounds a little bit like Lewis Capaldi. Super nice little guitar chord progression, some light strings. It's a well-balanced, well-structured, multi-phased opener. It gets me excited for the rest of the record. It's done. You done your job. You done your job, Finn. Good boy. Good boy, Finneas. Good boy. I really like the second track, The Kids Are All Dying. It's a fun, jaunty, kind of tongue-in-cheek commentary. Some really nice sort of toy piano to back up the kids' theme of the track as well. It's kind of this thing of like, how could you do this when X is happening? There's this kind of like recurring question thing, like, how can you make music when the kids are all dying? Why does the responsibility have to just be on artists to make people aware, when the responsibility should be firmly on everyone's back to make a difference? I also like there's some really Coldplay-esque rushes of guitars and drums on this thing as well at various points. And some nice falsetto vocal harmonies too from Finneas. So yeah, good job. Good track overall. I like it. Moving on. Following that, the song Happy Now is kind of like this interesting little bossa nova sort of track. Oh, it starts off that way anyway. It's got some cool little like pitchy kind of playful synth leads and stuff. Kind of dancey, poppy beat. But then it kind of like explodes into like this dance pop, synth pop sort of like experience. It's got like some kind of sticky, catchy little melodies. Happy now. And I gotta say, it's kind of better than Billy's bossa nova track, if I'm being perfectly honest right here. Like, damn, it's so much better. It's got so much more personality. It's a nice continuation of the sort of the playfulness of the previous two tracks. At first I wasn't really feeling the chorus, but a couple of listens kind of solidified it. It's good. It's a good track. It's another good track. Woo! Now, a track I really want to talk about is the song Love Is Pain. Jeez. It's this really somber, like sobering piano ballad with some like really awesome vocals and lyrical themes as well. He touches on like a lot of pretty dark things. I don't think Finneas has actually really revealed himself like this in a record before. It's pillowy, yet it's slightly unnerving, which I think is a nice touch. It sort of like plays into that dichotomy of, you know, love being painful. It's lovely, but it's painful. It's really nice subtle swells of like a fiddle, violin, and bass as well. It's really just like really nice, really gentle instrumental touches that just like really pick up the emotional weight of this track in a way. I found the dream lyrics, like the dream portion and the car crash portion of this track to be really poignant and kind of gut-wrenching as well. Finneas sort of talks about fear of losing his loved ones, his parents. All in all, yeah, it's a really simple, kind of straightforward song, but there's a lot going on emotionally, and I think that's probably what makes it so powerful. Is it's not groundbreaking. It's not a groundbreaking subject matter, but it is definitely, you know, affecting. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites on the record. Easily one of my favorites on the record. I'll tell you what's not a favorite of mine on this record. The song Around My Neck. Oh boy. It starts off well enough. It's got this thin beat, really stiff groove. And it's obvious at this point in the track that Finneas is trying to be sexy. But here's the thing. One listen to this song was enough for me to never want to hear it again, because Finneas, I'm sorry to say this, but this is not sexy. This song is not a turn on at all. It's actually really awkward. And it gets worse on the chorus. I actually have to look at the lyrics again, because Jesus Christ. The chorus melody is really annoying. There's this really like obnoxious call and response, like really distant reverb drenched call and response thing that happens on the chorus as well. Nobody doesn't like you do, you do, you do, you do. Why? It's just like a worse version of Oxytocin off Billy's last record. This song gives me no oxytocin. None. Zip. Zilch. Anyway, enough of being a dick. The song Medieval's actually pretty cool. I like this one as well a little bit. There's more Chris Martin vibes, and look, I am assuming that he's a big vocal influence on Finneas. But apart from that, there's like some punchy beats and like super washed, piercing synths as well, and the song itself seems to be kind of a bit of a focus on bit of a commentary on cancel culture, and that's kind of what the title refers back to, you know, medieval. It's like, you know, this cancel culture stuff is like, you know, back in the day when witches used to be like, oh, I've got the potion, and they're like, she's evil, kill her. It's like, I'm just doing... That was an actual reenactment of history as well. The Salem witch trials went exactly like that. The lyrics, you know, it feels a little medieval if you ask me. Like, I'm watching a sequel I've already seen. I could tell you what happens to the new king when he goes out of fashion. What does it matter if you're not fine? You should have kept that shit offline. And like, what should we fight about this time? Yeah, it's just a total, like, you know, what on earth is going on? What has given social media the right to be so rude? I like it. Look, you know, again, it's just, he asks these questions, it just rolls off the tongue. It doesn't feel preachy or anything. I'm glad. Very good track. Another highlight I want to mention is the song Only a Lifetime, which comes a lot earlier in the record. Just merely for the... God knows! There's this really awesome motif of, you know, don't waste time waiting for time to pass. I don't know who this song is like aimed at. Could be his close family. It could be a friend or something. But it's great. I love the sentiment on this track. There's some really awesome, very considerate sort of instrumental choices, some tremoloed string flourishes, some very feathery, polite little synth patches as well. There's some more mention here of his fear of losing his parents, mum specifically. He mentions specifically, "I worry about mum," which kind of hits pretty hard as well. Super melancholy, everything you need, nothing you don't. It's just a really lovely piano ballad. Another highlight on this thing for me. All in all, decent record. It's kind of look, it's all over the place stylistically. Really all over the place stylistically, but Finneas is a pretty apt songwriter. You know, and as much as I don't really care for the tracks that are, you know, a bit more zany or trying to be a bit more out there and quirky and sexy, you know, they at the very least they still provide enough variety to this record so that it doesn't just sound like just one somber piano ballad after the next. These songs that I don't care for make me excited when I do hear a song that I care for. So it's a you know, it kind of just like just balances itself out in that way. Okay, all right. I do think this record also suffers a little bit from derivative-itis sometimes. There's a few tracks here that really just kind of like super by the numbers, like to the point where I don't even really care to mention them. And I think probably that's this album's biggest weakness, is that it really does go quite straight and narrow for a lot of it. A lot of the runtime here is spent sort of just like wanting to appeal to as many people as possible, while also simultaneously wanting to make a kind of maybe a slightly daring artistic statement. I think Finneas does a good job, though, of assembling enough quality material here, enough that this record ends up actually being something that I am happy to return to, and that's a good thing. You don't have to make crazy artistic statements. You don't have to blow people away. Just put together some bloody tight songs. On the number scale, if I had to rate my enjoyment of this record, this thing's getting a 7 out of 10, like a light 7 out of 10. Yeah, good record. Good record. A little bit surprised with how much I enjoyed it, but yeah, good record. Really good record.